Hello and welcome back to a new episode of Halfway with Hathaway. George Hathaway here. And this is a great episode we have coming on season 1, episode 17. So let's just jump in right into it. Mac Jones traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars. NFL free agency has been going off right now. It's been very good. A lot of deals, signings, trades. Everything's really been happening right now. And I think for Mac Jones, it was time at one point. He was traded for a 2024 sixth round draft pick, and he didn't have good years in New England. I think besides his rookie year and then 2021, after that he hit a downhill decline, and I don't know what it was, what happened, but I think the organization also failed Mac Jones. I don't think it was entirely his fault, where maybe a majority, yes, it was a little bit his fault, but I mean, nothing much you can do when the organization doesn't believe in you. And Mac barely, he got benched a lot last season, and so it wasn't, the best for him. It wasn't the best fit. But he said he's super excited to be back home, Jacksonville. And that's where he's born and raised. So goodbye, I guess. I mean, I don't have a Mac Jones jersey, so I don't really have to too much worry about it. I'm not too invested. I do have a Cam Newton jersey, a Patriots one. So yeah, that I was a little invested in. But I think though with this, the Patriots now are going to look for a quarterback in the NFL draft, and another team that's looking for a quarterback in the NFL draft, it is the Chicago Bears. They just traded Justin Fields to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a 2025 sixth round draft pick. Huge. And that's a former number 1 overall pick. It didn't work out, just like Mac Jones. I honestly thought the Patriots were going to trade for Justin Fields and then get a receiver at the 3rd pick in the NFL draft. But the rate that this is going right now with Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, who also signed a deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers, also going to this is going to be an interesting quarterback battle. I believe it's already been stated that Russell Wilson will be getting the starting role in Pittsburgh, and yeah, I think Justin Fields to be a backup would be good for him. I think he'll learn a lot from Russell Wilson, but I think the Steelers have had a pretty busy free agency so far. I think their quarterback room, you go from Kenny Pickett to Mitch Trubisky to Justin Fields and Russell Wilson in one offseason. I think that's a huge improvement for them. AFC North, going to be fun, going to be very interesting, I think too. With T. Higgins especially requesting a trade, I think that's going to be interesting to see with the Cincinnati Bengals, where they're going to go from there. But yeah, I think what we've seen so far in NFL free agency is unreal. That's been like a few big names really moving around. I think another one, Derrick Henry signing a 2-year, $16 million contract with the Baltimore Ravens. Another good one. The Patriots have also been very busy. They signed Jacoby Brissett, Antonio Gibson, which I'm actually pretty happy for. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with Ezekiel Elliott, because I would love to keep Zeke on the team. They re-signed Kendrick Bourne to a 3-year, $19.5 million deal. With incentives, it has up to $33 million, which is great. Kendrick Bourne, big re-sign for the Patriots. Now they just need that quarterback. Same thing with Jalen Reagor, 1-year deal, $1.3 million. Hunter Henry, he's back for another 3-year deal, $27 million, with a max contract at $30. Austin Hooper, which I think is another great tight end because they lost Mike Gesicki, which I think is very good. Austin Hooper, I really liked him from Las Vegas. So I think, the Patriots going back to a 2 tight end set is going to be great. And then they re-signing a lot of their offensive line. Onwenu, 3-year, $57 million, huge. I'm excited for that because he's one of their big offensive linemen that they need. Their offensive tackles, Josh Uche, another big re-sign for 1 year, $3 million deal. Kyle Duggar, he got the transition tag, which would pay him $13.8 million for the season. Another big pickup for the Patriots. So I think, with a team that has a lot of cap space, they're doing a lot of deals. Now it's going to be interesting what they see in the NFL draft, which is coming up in a month. With that third overall pick, I think they're going to have to go quarterback. You're not going to be able to work with Jacoby Brissett, or really that's it. That's who you have, is Jacoby Brissett. And then they have Nathan Rourke as well. He signed with the Patriots. Don't know who that is, to be honest. But I don't think the Patriots can work with Brissett as their starter. It'll be interesting. But I think they have to go quarterback. And for me, it comes down to, I think it's Jayden Daniels. I'm a big fan of him. I want to see Jayden Daniels in a Patriots uniform. So that's why I'm kind of pushing in that way. Drake May, another name that has floated around there for that third overall pick that you can see him fall to. And then there's also Marvin Harrison Jr., because everyone knows Caleb Williams is going to go first overall to the Chicago Bears. But I think that you're going to have to go quarterback. I would love Marvin Harrison Jr., first off. But that's if the Patriots traded for Justin Fields or something of that nature. Because if you had a good starting QB, I think to draft a receiver in that third overall pick would have been the right move. But I think for now, I'm really pushing for Jayden Daniels from LSU. I would love to see him in a Patriots uniform. I think he's a great overall quarterback, Heisman winner. He's going to do a lot, and I think that would be huge for the Patriots, and I would love to see it. This is a great new era for the Patriots, and I'm super excited to kind of see where this is going to go. Drafting a quarterback, really building a team around that quarterback would be huge, especially in free agency with these signings, and you have all the cap space to do so. But yeah, that's what's been going on in the NFL world lately. It's just been free agency. Saquon going to the Eagles, and then you have Kirk Cousins. He's going to the Falcons, and the NFL investigating both those teams for tampering prior to that. And to me, I love the Saquon move. I think if you're going to stick it to the big man, you go to your interdivision rival. That's how you're going to do it. I don't think that you sign for a contender. You're going to a team that is good, that's already a solid team, and you're going in division. You're going to have to play the Giants twice a year. Prove to them why they should have paid you in the first place. I think for me, that's a good move. Nobody really likes it because, well, at least the players don't, because it looks like you're a traitor in that sense. It looks like you just kind of gave him the middle finger and went to your division rival. That'd be like Tom Brady leaving to go to the Bills, right? That's just like a comparison to it. And it is what it is. I mean, he's there to get the money. He felt undervalued with the Giants, with the team that wasn't going to win, because they decided to give all their money to Daniel Jones, who is trash, to be frank. So go to the Eagles, contend, have a shot. I don't think the Eagles will, but there's always that possibility that they could probably run the division. So, like I said, NFL free agency has been huge lately. A lot of big signings here, and it's been. Oof. There's still a lot more to come with the NFL in these next coming weeks, especially with the NFL draft. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to be trading some of these picks, what's going to be happening. A lot going on. But to get into this, March Madness. Yep, here it is. That time of year has come. Conference tournaments are among us. And there's no better place to start than the greatest conference tournament in all of college basketball. It's the Big East tournament. By far. And they announced the awards this week. Tristen Newton was robbed Big East Player of the Year. I do have to say. He was robbed. That went to Devin Carter, rightfully so. However, he was robbed the Big East Player of the Year. That's for sure. Danny Hurley, he wins Big East Coach of the Year for the UConn Huskies. That's right. There's only one way to do it. Of course, it's Danny Hurley. No doubt about it. That was a no-brainer. I think for me at least, you're the best coach of the best team of the reigning national champions. Probably going to go back to back. There's no doubt about it that Danny Hurley wins Big East Coach of the Year. And then you have Stefan Castle for UConn winning Big East Freshman of the Year. He has a program record of 11 Big East Freshman awards. And he's amazing. Another lottery pick in there. And to me, Alex Caravan was robbed of an award, at least a first team. Donovan Clingan got honorable mention. Cam Spencer was first team. But Alex Caravan was robbed. He should have been an honorable mention. I could name like a few other guys who were on that list that I think Alex Caravan was a lot better than. But like I said, that's fuel to the fire, right? If you're UConn, you're going to have all these teams who have already doubted you already so far this season. And then now you're going to have more kind of just motivation, right? I said Tristen Newton should use this as motivation. And what happened? He won Big East Tournament Most Outstanding Player. He had 10 assists in the win versus Marquette. And like Danny Hurley said, UConn is 7-0 in Storrs South. And yes, the Huskies did win just now the Big East Tournament for the 8th time. That ties Georgetown with the most in Big East Conference history. And rightfully so. First time since 2011 that UConn won the Big East Tournament. And let me say, 2011 was a good year for Husky fans. That's when they won the national championship. So, with Kemba Walker, and oh man, that was a great year for UConn fans, right? I mean, 5 days, 5 wins. And that was just Kemba Walker, cardiac Kemba. That's when it happened, 2011. Beautiful. That is the most iconic. When you come to March Madness, when you go to MSG, they're playing that Kemba Walker clip because it was unbelievable. Cardiac Kemba. Oh man, I can just think of it. How it happened. The step back, the crossover, the jumper. Right? It was just beautiful. It really was. But man, they call it March Madness for a reason. These conference tournaments have not disappointed. Cincinnati beating Kansas in the Big 12 tournament. Iowa State beating number 1 Houston. Wisconsin beating number 3 Purdue. I mean, come on right now. UConn is a clear number 1 team in the country, right? I mean, you outright win, I think, right? And let me say this, right? UConn dominated. And let me tell you, that St. John's game was the best game in Big East tournament history in recent years. I think since 2011, since Kemba Walker, I think that's the best game, hands down. It really has been because, I mean, Rick Pitino, Dan Hurley, both get teed up. A fan gets ejected from the game because he was mouthing off to Danny Hurley and the officials. Danny Hurley said, you know what, screw it, bring him back because guess what? He's good luck for us. And it was just that amount of pettiness that I love in Dan Hurley. I love it. I really do. And like you said, after the win against Marquette, we're not done. They set goals for themselves this year. This UConn team had a poster of the Big East Championship trophy in their locker room all week long. And that's what they wanted to get, and they got it. Same thing happened with a few other of the other invitationals, right, that they won. They won one already at the Garden. They won the Big East Tournament, Big East regular season. Now it's time to go to the Final Four and then the national championship. Those are the next 2 trophies that the Huskies have to get, and that's the ones that Danny Hurley wants. And he said it, and he also alluded to the fact that the guys that are returning on this team, like Samson Johnson, Tristen Newton, Caravan, Hurley, all those guys, they have that national championship, but they don't have the Big East one. And in the Big East, that trophy means a lot. There's nothing better than Big East basketball when it comes down to it. It is the greatest conference with some of the best teams in the country, hands down. Another great tournament, though, I do have to say, is the ACC tournament. NC State beating Duke. Oh, my goodness. It's not Duke's year. It's absolutely terrible. This is a disappointing team if I'm Duke. If I'm John Shire, I'm disappointed. You have some of the best players in the country come to your school every year just to lose to a double-seeded NC State. No team in ACC history, it's been years and years and years since this happened. I think it's been since the 80s, has been double-digit team going to the ACC championship game and NC State, UNC playing. Oof. But I can't stand UNC, though. I really can't. I hope NC State beats the brakes out of them, but I don't know if that'll happen. But a huge fan, though, of this UConn team. It's unbelievable. This team's better than last year's team, and that's what's scary, is that they're proving it each and every day that they're better than last year, and last year's team did historic numbers, right? But with all these upsets, though, I mean, FAU lost to Temple, and Temple's been an unreal run right now in their tournament, and that's what's so special about March. Once you get hot, you get that bid in there, ooh, it's game over. And then another, Brown beating Princeton too. That was big in the Ivy League, and I said it earlier this season on this podcast. I said that Princeton, they can be legit. I forget, it was an early episode too. That was in November. That's when they started out undefeated too. And Brown beating them for the Ivy League championship earlier on Saturday. That was huge. So like I said, there's just been so much going on. Wagner's getting in, like all these low-level D1 schools getting into it, and that's the nature, right? They want to move college, March Madness, the tournament to 80. No, keep it at 68. It's so special, right? And the thing is, you don't know who's going to be in, who's going to be out right now, right? I think St. John's, they have to be in, right? They're going to be a low seed team. They're probably going to be a 10, maybe a 9, right? That's going to be their ranking. UConn, number 1, of course. Seton Hall could probably squeeze their way in. Marquette and Creighton, those are locks. So you have Marquette, Creighton, UConn, those 3 locks, right? The 2 others that could possibly go in, you could have a 5-team bid if you're the Big East. And you could get 3 out of those 4 spots, I think, maybe. St. John's, Seton Hall, I think, can get in. Providence, they're on the cusp, though. I don't think they get in. I don't think so. Yes, they have the quad 1 wins, but I don't think that Providence can do it this year. I don't think so. I'm not buyers on this team. Devin Carter's great, but they're losing Bryce Hopkins is going to hurt them. Kim English, great coach. Definitely making a name for himself. He has a lot to do. But yeah, no. College basketball is special. It really is. And then Selection Sunday's coming up. That's going to be huge. Probably going to talk that next week's episode, going into that. And if UConn, once they get in, which they will, which we all know they will, they're 1 seed, but they're going to be in the East Division. It's all home games for UConn. They will not have to travel by plane until they go to Arizona, Phoenix. And that's unreal. That's not until April will they do that. Think about that. They're going to play up in New York for the first 2 rounds. Then the 2 rounds after that, they play in Boston. Those are all home games for UConn. It's not even fair at this point. You play those games at MSG, they're not even fair. They're not neutral sites. UConn is undefeated at MSG this year. Stores South for a reason, right? I mean, I'm going to get my guy Kyle on next week's show. We really are. Kyle Garib, I had him on one of my first episodes of the show. He's going to come on. I'm going to set it. I'm going to text him. It's going to happen, right? We're going to talk about it because we already said it's going to happen. We talked, last time that right before March Madness began, right before the tournament begun, that we're gonna have another interview again. So make sure to stay tuned for that one because Kyle is excited, I know, and I am too for this UConn team. It's unbelievable, kind of see what they've been doing. But if you don't have to travel by plane until you go to the Final Four in Phoenix, Arizona. Yeah, UConn has a legit shot to win it all again, and that's what I love about it, right? You at any given day you don't know who's going to win, right? With Purdue, You never know that they lost in overtime to Wisconsin. Houston got blown out, though, by Iowa State. That wasn't even close. I mean, Florida's been playing really good. SEC, there's just been so many good teams right now. But Selection Sunday, that's going to be a good one. That's going to be good because, you know the teams that are going to be in there. But what I'd love to see is those teams that they don't know who's going to be in there. Are we going to be in yet? I don't know. We're on the cusp. We lost. Man. And especially for those schools that deserve those chances, like those small schools. You love to see those, like FDU, St. Peter's. Like, they're in it. It's just so fun. It's going to be so good to watch. And I love to see these runs like Princeton did last year. FDU, FAU, but I don't think they're going to go this year. Maybe. They lost to Temple, right? So who knows? But yeah, a lot of college basketball. It's the best time of year. Make sure to stick tuned, though, for next week's episode. I'm George Hathaway. Thank you so much for watching and listening to Halfway with Hathaway. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you're watching on the YouTube. And if you're listening wherever you get your podcasts, make sure to follow us and give us that 5-star rating as well. And make sure to have those notifications on for every single episode. And I'll see you guys next time.